let me just put a fork in this right now if I can. No decision has been made with respect to the case of Sergeant Bergdahl. None. And there is no timeline to make that decision. And General Milley is not being put under any pressure to make a decision either way, and certainly not on any timeline. So I just want to make that very clear.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, whether or not that's, whether or not that's truly accurate, we will have more in the next segment. But right now, we're joined by Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations for Judicial Watch. Hello, Chris.
Great to be on with you. How you doing?
Good to talk to you again. All right, so you guys filed a lawsuit back in November, if I'm not mistaken, Freedom of FOIA Act request against the Department of Defense seeking any determinations made by Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel that the 5 Gitmo terrorists traded for Bergdahl were no longer a threat to national security. Where are we with that, and what do you know?
I've got even better information for you. We've got 4 lawsuits concerning Bergdahl currently underway, and we're about to file a 5th. So we are pursuing this Bergdahl issue doggedly, and one way or another, we're going to extract the truth from the government on this.
All right. So what in addition to the FOIA request, what are the? Tell me what the latest one is going to be seeking.
Yeah, so what this has to do with is the memo of agreement between the United States government and Qatar, or Qatar, concerning exactly how these guys are going to be handled and controlled. We think that's very important. We're also looking for the payoff. There's substantial evidence to believe that whether you want to call it the word ransom or not, or bribe or not, or bakshish or whatever you'd like to call it, but money changed hands. The United States government paid, what do you want to call them, facilitators, liaison officers, hostage negotiators. They paid money in addition to these 5 terrorists being set loose in exchange for Bergdahl.
So they paid kind of a deferred ransom, if you will.
Exactly. Now, they don't want to use that word. It's a naughty word. But your tax dollars went to terrorists and their allies in an effort to spring this traitor who deserted.
All right, and what and the other lawsuits, are they all along the same lines?
They're pursuing different angles. So there's different lawsuits targeting both DOD and State Department, and they ask very painful, annoying questions about decisions that were made, memorandums of agreement that were entered into, the decision not to brief Congress as required by law. So there's each of these requests, or each of these sort of angles or approaches to finding out the underlying facts concerning the exchange. Each is a lawsuit unto itself.
Do you believe, there are reports that he will be charged, but he'll get credit for time served when he was quote unquote held hostage by the Taliban, that he will not, he will not face jail time, or if he does, it'll be very limited. He will get back to his old rank of I don't know, private or first class or whatever it was before he became sergeant. I mean, I just don't understand the special treatment for this man, except for the fact that he apparently, according to what I've read and seen from the New York Times and others in his letters and his correspondence, he sympathized with the enemy. He had a problem with his comrades. His father, the same thing, when you listen to what he said in front of the president. So it just seems like it's a natural. Here's a guy who kind of favors the enemy. Let's give him special treatment, says our president.
It's completely consistent with this administration's ideological viewpoint. I mean, if they could, they'd probably give the guy the Medal of Honor, right? This is somebody that is simpatico with Obama and his viewpoint, his philosophy, and they're not terribly interested in prosecuting a guy who's essentially a traitor. In another world, in another administration, there might be grounds to pursue capital punishment in this regard, and there's provisions for it under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for doing that. So it's entirely lawful, but they're gonna rock this back onto the general officer Milley, who's down at Fort Bragg, to make the decision. And essentially, it's unreviewable. Once that two-star, as the commander, makes his call, that's it. You're done. And so it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to talk next right here after we say goodbye to you, Chris. We're going to speak with Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer, retired, of course, who broke the story that desertion charges would be forthcoming. Thank you very much, Chris. Keep up the great work as always.
Thank you.
All right, we're coming back, folks. More on Bowe Bergdahl with Tony Schaefer. Don't go away.